Good day to all the bears. So today I am here with my husband and we are going to have a sit-down interview with him. Let's get to know more about him.
You sure?
Sure.
You sure you want to know?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I have here a list of questions.
I got my towel, so if I cry, no, it's for sweating. She's gonna drive me to tears.
Okay. So tell us, honey, who is Andrew? Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Stockton, California. Woo woo! And yeah. What else? Born and raised in Stockton,
Born
California.
and raised in California. What did you do in there after you were
Go
born?
to school.
So
So my parents, I guess you want to know. You see that I look Filipino, so my parents are both half and half. They're what you call mestizos, yeah?
Mestizo, yes.
That's mixed, yeah?
Mixed,
So my father is half Mexican, half Filipino, and my mom was half Mexican, half Filipino. My grandfathers on both sides are Filipinos, and my grandmothers were Mexican. So I guess you could say I'm 100% Filipino and 100% Mexican, right? Because both my parents are half and half.
Okay, so tell us about your career-wise when you started working. What do you do?
So when I graduated high school, went to college, didn't do so well. A lot of young kids that get out of high school, they don't. Some are ready to go into college and ready to start their college careers, but not me. I was not a good student. I started at a junior college and didn't do well, and then just started working in the mall at a shoe as a shoe salesman, and I wasn't making much money. I wasn't doing much, right? Just a dead end job working as a shoe salesman. And then I worked from 18 to like 22. And when I turned 23, I said, man, this is dead end. I said, I have to get a career. I have to do something. In college, I was just dropping out of my classes and just working more full time at the mall, at the shoe store. So I decided to join the military. And that was like one of the best decisions of my life.
Okay, so how many years were you in the military?
I was in the Navy for 20 years. 20 years in the Navy, active duty. Yeah, I did 20 years.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you, babe.
So after retiring in the Navy, what's your next career? So you said you were working in the Navy for 20 years. So how old were you then?
So I joined the Navy when I was 23. And then
so you're only 43?
I was 43 when I retired.
Okay. After retiring in the Navy, what's your next career?
My next career, I moved back to Hawaii, and then I'm a surgical technician by trade. I'm kind of like the guy that stands next to the doctor and hands him the instrumentation. So I got a job at Kapi'olani Children's Hospital in Hawaii. So I worked there for about a year, and then I worked for about another 5 years at Shriners Children's Hospital, which is right across the street. And I had a great career there.
You were married that time?
For some of that time, not all the time.
Okay, so you mentioned your ex or wife. How'd you meet her?
We met.
How long you been together?
We met in 2000. I think it was like 2003 or 2004, around that time, because we just got married and I had to leave Hawaii. I was stationed in Hawaii for 3 years, and I don't think I let the relationship blossom like I should. I was kind of rushing because we dated for about a year, and then I had to get stationed somewhere else. So I said, let's get married. So I kind of pushed the relationship. I blame myself for that. And then we ended up getting married. We had the full big wedding like everybody loves to have. We had the big wedding, and then we moved soon after we got married.
Mm-hmm. You said you were divorced. So
Yeah.
do you think your job has something to do with your divorce?
A little bit. As soon as we got married, we moved to San Diego, and I was stationed on aircraft carrier USS Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a ship, and I was deployed all the time. I mean, I was deployed for six. As soon as I got to the ship, we went on deployment for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Gone for 6 months. And I'm just recently married, right? I was gone for 6 months. Came back
Mm-hmm.
for 2 months, and normally the ship comes in and they stay for repairs for about another year.
Mm-hmm.
But our ship didn't do that. You know, we went out for 6 months on deployment. And then we came back for 2 months, and then we were back out for another 4 months. I'm like, man, I'm never gonna start my relationship with my wife. Yeah. So when I finally came back off deployment after those 3 years, we were kind of different people by then. You know, she was settled in her career, and then I was kind of like a different person. She was a different person when I got back.
Okay, that's sad.
Yeah, sad.
I'm sorry.
You know, a lot of those military marriages end in divorce. You know, I don't want to say I'm one of the statistics, but I am now.
Yeah.
So we were married about 6 years, and then divorced, and then in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after divorcing your wife, how many girlfriends you have?
Ooh, quite quite a few. No. So I had one really beautiful woman as my girlfriend for a few years, and she was with me in Hawaii. And then a lot of girls I just dated for like a few weeks, sometimes a few months, and that was it.
Are there Filipinas?
I told myself I'm never going to date or be with a Filipina, because when I was young, I had 2 Filipina aunties in California, and my mom told me a story about when the aunties came over the house or something like that. The aunties told my mom that she was too fat for her nephew, my dad. And so my mom was angry, because these Filipinas just told my mom, you know, they were pretty blunt, and they just told my mom, hey, you're too fat for our nephew. And so my mom told my dad, don't ever bring those ladies to our house again. And so after that, the only time I ever saw my Filipino side of the family, which is those 2 aunts and my cousins, the only time we ever saw them is we went over their house, which was a town away from our town. And so I would go visit them, and then of course that's how I got all the Filipino food I wanted, right? And they used to make biko and all my favorites. And so I knew about those ladies. They were kind of like dragon ladies, right? You didn't want to mess with these ladies. They were mean. And so I had this thought in my mind, don't ever date a Filipina. I said, they're going to be bossy, you know? So I always just thought in the back of my mind, I'm not ever dating a Filipino.
Okay.
No.
Am I bossy?
Yes, she's bossy.
No, you lie.
In her way. She's passive aggressive. She's passive aggressive. She is bossy.
How was your relationship with the first Filipina girlfriend you had?
I've only had one other than you.
Okay.
And she was a beautiful woman. And it actually changed my thought about how Filipinas were when I dated her. She was a beautiful woman, and it just didn't work out. But it kind of opened my eyes. I said, man, you know what? I guess if she's like this, I said, not all Filipinas are bad.
So did that made you realize that you want to date another Filipina?
I said, I'll give it a chance again. Again, if I had to do it all over and it was a Filipina, I said, I'd do it all over again. I'll try. Yeah.
Did that relationship made you realize that you want to date another Filipina?
Maybe down the future. You know, I was hoping that maybe I could meet another Filipina. And yeah. And so that's why I kind of got into the dating site, right? So I was, when I was in Hawaii, I started dating a lot of ladies, and through another dating site in Hawaii, an American dating site. But then those dating sites, you have to pay money. And I was like, I paid money for, I think they gave you a subscription, right? Those
Yes.
dating sites, right? So I did it for paid like for 3 months. You pay, and then so I started dating women, but then they were like lying on their profiles. You know, here's like a 50-year-old lady. She's posting a picture of herself when she was 18 years old in high school, and so they made themselves look better than what they look. And I'm not saying I look like no peach, right? And so, but you know, it just didn't work out. I tried like a bunch of dating through the website, the dating site, and I said, nah, it's not for me. So I stopped doing online dating until, of course, I started the date in Asia when I met you.
So, so that made you decide to go to Asian dating sites.
Yeah, no, well, that didn't change my mind to go on Asian dating sites. So what I did was, I just didn't date anymore. I stopped dating. I said, I'm just gonna enjoy my life and just. But after a while, man, you know, I love fishing. I'm a fisherman by heart, and so it got kind of lonely just fishing every weekend. Just like you see all your friends, and when you would go out to dinners or go out on lunch dates with them, they're all with their couples, and here I am all by myself. And I'm like, you know, I gotta get a partner in life at some point, right? Yeah. And so I was just watching YouTubes. I'd be in Hawaii and I was watching a bunch of YouTubes, and then I saw a few expats here in the Philippines, and one in particular. I'm not going to mention any names, but the expat I mentioned that he had a girlfriend, and he was talking about how he met her, and so he mentioned that he had met her on this site called Date in Asia. So I said, you know what, let me just try it. It's for free, and I had gone to go look at all the other dating sites, and they required money, right, for subscriptions. I'm not doing that anymore. So
yeah. So when you are in the Asian dating site, what are your expectations?
Well, you know, it was the site was called Date in Asia, so you could have dated Indonesian, Thai, you know, Cambodian. They had different Chinese. They had different Asians there. It wasn't just Filipinos that were on the site. But I figured, since I knew so much and it's in my blood, you know, I still know so much of the culture of Filipinos already. It's part of me already. I said, just, you know, your preferences, you know, I just cancel out. I just cancel out all the other nationalities, and I just look for Filipinos.
And what are particular preference are you looking for in a Filipina?
Young. not 18 years old or not 20, but it's kind of strange. I think I set my preferences to 30, but when I met her, she was 29. So ouch, my preferences were much lower, I think, than 30.
I'll be turning 30.
No, but you were 29, right? And so I must have set my preferences on that dating site for like 25 to 35. I think I did that. Yeah.
Okay, so coming here in the Philippines to meet your Filipina girlfriend, what are you planning somehow to retire?
No, that didn't even cross my mind. As a matter of fact, when we met on the dating site, and then I started visiting you more often through that year, I think more what I was talking about was bringing you to America. And that was my initial plan. Is they have a visa, I think it's called K1.
K1, yes.
I had looked into this K1 visa to maybe, after, if things went good with us, that I would bring you to America. And with the K1 visa, it's like you had 3 months to 90 days. You bring your girl to America, and you have 90 days to marry her.
Yes.
And so that was my initial plan. And so, yeah. So.
And so, if that's your initial plan,
why didn't I follow through? Why aren't we in America? Well,
what made you retire?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what caused me, but I just made, I just said, go for it, man. Just, I don't know. Maybe I got tired of work. And don't get me wrong, my job was great. I worked 5 years for Shriners Children's Hospital, and they are one of the best organizations in the world. And I had the greatest doctors I worked for, I mean, they were amazing people. The nurses that were there, the staff, my coworkers, they were great. As a matter of fact, like 15 of my coworkers were all Filipino. So mostly Ilocanos there too in Hawaii, by the way. So yeah, so my initial plan was to bring hopefully you to America, but that didn't work out. I don't know what happened. I just decided to say, you know what, I'm done with work.
I made him retire.
Yes, you made me retire. Sure.
Okay. So retiring.
I'm starting to sweat, or am I crying? One of the two.
Retiring is a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your sacrifices when you retire?
Oh, my sacrifices. Oh man. Sacrifice my family for one. I miss them. I have an uncle and aunt. My uncle Raymond, my aunt Catalina, and my aunties Alice and Ty, my uncle Ty, and I miss them. They're like my immediate family to me, and then my cousins too in Hawaii. They're getting older, and I've missed all this time with them. Where I've been here 5 years, I haven't seen them at all. And my cousins' children, they're getting big. I knew them when they were little kids, but when they were like 6 years old, and now I haven't seen them in 5 years. They're like 11, 12 years old, and when I go back to America, whenever that will be, they're not even gonna remember me. I feel sad. Please remember me. Yeah, so I do regret that. And I can't forget my baby sister. I still have a sister in California. She lives in Sacramento. And so she's 7 years younger than me. I'm 55. Sorry I said your age, Kimberly. So her nickname is Kumi. And so I always call her Kumi. I miss my baby sis. Yeah, so family. I miss my family.
So aside from that, did you regret your decision?
No, I don't regret my decision at all. It was the best decision for me, looking back now. Yeah.
So how was your first years here in the Philippines?
Very trying, babe. It was hard. Looking back, yeah, when you're in it, you just go through it, and you don't realize, but it was hard. I mean, the culture. I thought I knew the Philippines. I'm Filipino. I thought I knew everything, but when I got here, it's like the Filipino culture is the Filipino culture. It's not like Filipino American culture. It's different. The way of life is different here. Everything slower. You have to be very patient here. I have to be patient with drivers here because I want to. Driving here is it's a hard task.
Yes, a lot of
bad drivers.
Yes.
Sorry, Filipinos. I love you, but.
So, what are the advantages?
Advantages of being here, of course, number one for me is the economy, right? Some things are cheaper than others, like housing. I mean, look, our apartment. We have a 2-bedroom apartment here in the Philippines, and our apartment would probably go anywhere from like $1,500 to $3,000, depending on if you were in Hawaii or California, where I'm from. So, and here we're only paying $60. So, yeah.
Any disadvantages
of what?
Moving here.
No.
What about the people? How are the Filipino people?
Oh, I love the Filipino people. Kind of, I was saying this to you before, is like, being here in the Philippines now reminds me of what it was like in the 70s when I was a kid. I remember, I'll just tell this real quick story. I remember at my grandmother's house, next door to my grandmother, there used to be a Chinese family, and they had 2 daughters. And I remember back in those days, my grandmother never really locked the front door, just kind of let the screen door open. And these 2 little girls, these 2 little Chinese girls used to come over my grandmother's house, and my grandmother never locked the door. And these girls were probably like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years old. and then they would just open the door, come into the house, and I had a younger sister, and she was a little bit older than the girls, but closer to their age. And so they would just open up my grandmother's door, walk in the house, and say, is Kimberly here? My sister, is Kimberly here? And I'm like, man, you can't do that now in America. You can't let your 6, 7-year-old children, 2 little girls, go to your neighbor's house and open the door and go in and say, hey, is Kimberly here? But back in those days, you trusted other families, and then the little girls would play with my sister for a few hours, and then the father would come over and say, hey, are the girls here? And then they'd take the girls and go back home. But that's one thing I like about the Philippines. And to come back to the Philippines, I feel like I'm in that era again, because here I see children just playing around everywhere. I don't see the parents with them. I see kids going into other people's houses, and it reminds me when I was a child. It reminds me when the days and age where in America nobody locked their doors. Everybody you trusted, you knew the families around your neighborhood, you trusted them, and your kids would go and play with other kids at their house. But and that's like it here in the Philippines still to this day.
Okay. Yeah. What about food? Any adjustments?
Food, I'm used to the rice. Everything's built around rice with me. I'm used to it already. So that was no problem.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's how we do it.
Eaters.
And I have to go on a diet again. I had lost a lot of weight and I gained weight. Yeah.
What about weather?
Weather? Well, I was in Hawaii, for a lot of my life. Yeah. So it's tropical, right? So I'm used to that. Yeah. So I'm used to a little warmer than the Hawaiian weather, in Oahu. But I'm used to it. I'm used to that tropical weather already. So yeah.
Okay, that's it for now, folks. And the reason why we have a sit-down interview with Andrew is today is a very special day for us. Why? Because this is the day, yes, that we met online.
Yes.
Yay, 7 years.
Today is our when we met anniversary online. So it is a special day for us today, August 4th. We have other holidays or other anniversaries that she's gonna make me remember, but I do remember August 4th. So today is a special happy anniversary day.
Happy anniversary, honey.
Let's shake my hand. Happy anniversary. So we just wanted to give you a quick
get to know
who I am. Interview. Yes. I see some videos of guys interviewing people here in the Philippines, and I thought I wanted to be interviewed, just so you would know a little background about me. And so I had my honey do a little interview about me, and as we go on through our everyday YouTube channel.
This will not be our last sit-down interview.
No, so I'm gonna get her good. So she asked me some hard questions. I got some doozies for her, so stay tuned, okay, folks? I'm gonna ask her some really hard questions. She thinks she got me with some of these hard questions. Ask me,
I still have something
some personal questions. So just stay tuned. Just wanted to show you guys my life and where I'm from and how I was raised, and how I came to be here in the Philippines. So thank you, babe, for interviewing me, and that should do it. Yeah. A little bit about myself. Thank you guys for watching. Please like
and subscribe,
and don't forget to hit the notification bell for any new upcoming videos we may have. Thank you. Bye.